Hi guys, David here in the First Place Auto Parts Studio, and today we're going to take a look at the few of the options that you have when buying fuel, brake, and transmission lines for your project. Original equipment fuel and brake lines for American vehicles made in the 50s all the way through the early 80s were constructed of steel like this line I have here. Steel is a strong material, and steel tubing is relatively easy to bend into the intricate shapes needed to connect two junctions. Steel is also effective at carrying pressurized fluids such as gas, brake, and transmission fluid for long spans due to its structural strength. Steel, however, is not the best material when it comes to corrosion resistance. Steel lines under your car lead a really tough life and can look old, hammered, and rusty quickly when exposed to the elements. Enter stainless steel. Stainless steel tubing is also a strong material capable of connecting and transferring pressurized fluids from one source, say your mechanical fuel pump to your carburetor, or master cylinder to your rear brake cylinders. An added benefit of stainless steel is that it is much more corrosion resistant than traditional steel lines, and it can be polished to a high sheen. So the big question then becomes, which one of these materials is right for your project? Let's dive right in and take a look at what separates these two types of metal tubes to better understand your project's needs and which type of material is right for your car. Over the years, stainless steel tubing has become more and more popular for use in either repairing or in vehicle restorations, and now accounts for over 40% of line sales. Both the original steel and stainless steel have their ups and downs. Reproduction OE steel lines are very close to the type of material that came originally on most GM, Ford, and Mopar muscle cars from the 60s and 70s. Steel lines have the benefit of being financially less expensive to purchase, and steel is a softer material, making it easier to bend and work with. And even though it may rust, a steel line on a car that is not driven in harsh conditions or exposed to salt should last 20 plus years. To combat rust, some installers and restorers will spray their steel lines with a clear coat, which is a bad idea, because if the clear coat gets chipped, it will allow water or contaminants to get below the clear coat and cause that place in the line to rust faster than it normally would. Stainless steel, on the other hand, is a hard material and is more difficult than steel lines to bend, flare, and seal. To ensure a perfect flare and leak-proof fitting, a quality brake, fuel, or transmission line will have to have its flare made on a hydraulic flaring machine to ensure a perfect flare every time. This machine is able to turn a straight-cut piece of tubing into many different styles of flares that each type of line will call for to be leak-free. Due to the hardness of the metal, sometimes installing stainless steel lines can be a little bit more challenging when it comes to sealing the junctions between the actual tube and the block itself to keep them from leaking. You can totally do this, just know that you have to take a little more care to get those two things seated properly. To properly seal stainless steel lines, it may be necessary to loosen and tighten the fitting several times before the seating of the assembly for the final time. This process is always just a little bit easier when using a brand new block, and because the flared seat needs to closely fit around the cone of the block, do not use any kind of thread sealant, tape, or putty on the threads of the flare fitting. And one final detail, whether you're ordering OE steel or stainless steel lines, the spiral wound gravel guard that was used on your vehicle's original lines when it was new are going to be installed on your new lines before the fittings and the flaring process takes place. Both types of lines will retain the original look and protective design of the original. Okay guys, reality check. And that reality is that very few of these cars get driven daily or even driven in inclement weather anymore. The choice between an OE steel or stainless steel line really comes down to preference and aesthetics. OE steel is easy to work with, looks original, but its looks will degrade over time. Stainless steel lines are a nice crisp detail against a newly painted black frame, and it will retain its looks for years without maintenance, but may be more of a challenge when it comes time to assembly. Either way you go, you have a choice of the type of line material you can use, depending on the needs of your build. Look guys, we at First Place Auto Parts are car guys just like you. We have projects in our garage that we're working on as well. If you have further questions about lines or line material, please leave me a comment below and I'll respond to it. If you have found this video or subject informative, please consider following and subscribing to the First Place Auto Parts YouTube channel, where we will continually be adding how to install product videos and product review videos that you might find helpful as you work on, repair, and rebuild your American muscle car or truck. And when it comes time to buying parts for your dream project, please check out the always open, super easy to use First Place Auto Parts website at fpautoparts.com, where you will find thousands of high quality restoration and performance parts for your muscle car project. Until next time, thanks for watching, keep the hammer down and keep it between the guardrails.